First part of a two-part interview I had the privilege of doing with Carl Evans Jr. of Fattburger. First, we're going to go back to the early Evans days when Carl was just a youngster starting out in San Diego. Are you not one of the Crawford High alumni?
I'm proudly a Crawford High alumni.
Yeah.
Class of 73. This is our year.
That's right.
20-year reunion.
All right. Are they going to do something big like that with everybody?
I think so. I heard a rumor there's going to be quite a jam session.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. Are they going to sell tickets? Can we go?
Probably, you know.
That'd be great. Who else was in that class?
Wow. Well, some of the, from the musicians world, probably most notably Nathan East.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you heard of him.
One
And,
or two of you.
And Mel Goot, who's one of the top pianists in the area. Doug Robinson, a great musician who's up in Central California right now. Sandy Patty, the gospel singer.
Hey.
Was a Crawford girl.
Go, girl.
And Hollis Gentry, of course.
Hollis graduated the same year you did?
Actually, let's see. Actually, he got out of there a little early. So he got out of there in 72.
Yeah, you come from a very musical family, right?
Yes, indeed. Very blessed to come from a very nice family, first of all. And my father, who passed away about 2.5 years ago, was a world-class musician. He was a Navy bandmaster for many years and one of the top saxophone players in the country, but spent most of his career in the Navy as opposed to recording out of New York, like a lot of the guys in his era did. But yeah, he quite a musician and a great guy. And my mother was very musically inclined. She was a gospel singer in her school days and a choir directress in her early years. And so we got a lot of jazz happening at home and a lot of gospel music. And my brother is quite a renowned drummer, Michael Evans. He does a lot of work. He just got back from Paris.
Yeah, with Arvella.
Arvella Murray and Charlie Chadwick and Kevin Flournoy and some of the top people in San Diego. So we represented, San Diego represented itself very well. You are a miracle, one of a kind.
Of a kind. Title track to the very first release from Fattburger. And in the studio tonight with me on the San Diego Jazz Spotlight, Carl Evans Jr. Fattburger wasn't your first band, though, I'm sure.
Oh, no. Fattburger is the most, by far the most famous band I've been in.
Wait a minute.
As far as a full partner, I've played with other musicians and things like that. But as far as my contribution, yeah, it's very important and it's very special. Some of the earlier bands I played with in school days, with Hollis and Nathan, most notably, a band called Power, which was a top R&B band in San Diego, probably around 1972, 71, 73, around in those days. And that band went on tour with Barry White. Nathan and I, just out of high school, graduated half a year early. In fact, to tour with Barry.
That must have been pretty exciting, though. Fresh out of high school, hitting the road.
Yeah, it was kind of fun.
With the big guy.
The big guy, yeah.
With the big voice.
Yeah, serious voice. Yeah.
Too much fun.
Oh yeah, it was quite an experience. We played a lot of things, a lot of Cobo Hall in Philadelphia and Kennedy Center, and spent a week at the Apollo Theater. We followed James Brown into the Apollo. Played with opposite Stevie Wonder in Detroit.
You said you flew on a plane with Stevie.
Yeah, the first flight I had going to Detroit, the guy sitting right in front of me was Stevie Wonder. He had headphones on listening to a tape, and we were talking to him, and we told him we were with Barry White, and he said, oh, great. So he gave me the headphones. Check this out. It was some of the best music I'd ever heard in my life, and happened to be the Intervisions album.
Amazing.
So
you were like previewing one of the greatest
albums of all time. Oh, yeah. So that was real nice.
That is from the fifth Fattburger release titled Come and Get It, a Carl Evans Jr. composition. And in the studio, you went from Barry to what? Not straight to Fattburger, was it?
No. Actually, Power stayed together after the Barry White tour for a while. And then I started playing strictly jazz for a number of years. Worked with some of the top local musicians, some world-class players out of San Diego. Daniel Jackson, a saxophonist and pianist, but he was playing strictly saxophone back then. Had a band called the Experimental Jazz Workshop, And Mitch Manker and I met in that band.
Which is great.
Mitch is a great player.
Awesome.
But James Hunt on bass and Ronnie Stewart on drums, and that was some very serious bebop boot camp, as we called it, because Daniel put us through some very serious paces.
Worked you hard, huh?
Yeah, that was probably the best training I've ever had musically, was working with that band. And we played 2 nights a week at the Crossroads, which was like the hot jazz club in town.
I think I've heard Larry Himmel talk about that place.
He remembers. He's old. He's an old guy, so he remembers that.
He's going to love us for this.
Yeah. Well, he knows how old he is.
Is that where you met Ella?
As a matter of fact, I had heard about Ella before she came to San Diego.
Really?
I'd heard about her for about 3 months before she came out. Heard she was coming out, and because Mitch was from Des Moines, Iowa, and Mitch was one of the first of a group of Des Moines musicians that migrated to San Diego. Duncan Moore came out. A lot of fine musicians came out from Des Moines, and Ella Ruth. We kept hearing about the singer that was tearing up the college scene back there, doing all the college, things equivalent to Montezuma Hall kind of gigs, and I thought it was exaggeration at first. I mean, come on, nobody could be that good.
Oh, I know.
And then she came out, and she came to the Crossroads one night. We were playing, and just tore it up. And so the rest literally is history. When Fattburger first started, it was a very high visibility band, and we were doing literally 8 to 10 gigs a week.
My gosh.
And we were working in L.A. also. We were doing some gigs up there. There were only a few clubs in town that had a contemporary jazz format, and most of those gigs were dominated by either Fattburger or our sister band, Ella Ruth Piggee. So we would play, say, at the Old Pacific Beach Cafe for 3 weekends or 4 weekends.
And then Ella would
we would go to the Triton on College and Alcohol Boulevard and have Ella play the PB Cafe. And the strategy there was to keep a similar sort of format, so when we came back,
the same crowd,
our following was there. Otherwise, if we had left, we come back and there might be a whole different kind of, rock and roll crowd or country western crowd there, something like that.
Or you could just imagine at the beach.
But it was proof that cooperation really paid off for both bands, as opposed to competing against each other.
And also for the club. You guys have put out how many albums as Fattburger, as a group?
Fattburger has, 7 albums out now.
7 albums.
So we're working on our 8th album. Well, one of them was a best of Fattburger, so
that's right.
You can count it 6.5 albums if you want to.
Well, that has a couple of new ones on it, though, doesn't it?
No, that one doesn't.
All?
No, all. Yeah, reviews, the best of, or what do you call it, greatest hits, or whatever you want to call it.
I was looking at One of a Kind the other day and noticed that Tommy Aros wasn't actually at that time listed as a member of the band. It said,
right,
and featuring Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
Was he just kind of like brought in at the end and then just sort of fit like a glove, or was that why wasn't he listed as a member of the band at that time?
At the time we recorded the album, he wasn't a full-time member of the band. He wasn't a member of the band, in fact. But
whose idea was it to bring Tommy in on percussion?
I don't remember. Everybody agreed that
he's hot.
He was like, one of the best musicians in the world. He's by far the strongest member of our band in performance. He's amazing to watch. I have a hard time concentrating because I'm watching him. It's like, oh, that's right, I'm supposed to be playing. He's an awesome musician and even a better person. Yeah, he was like the 6th member of the team. So when Hollis left the band, Tommy became a full-time member. Yeah. There was nobody else that there's no other way. How in the world can you replace somebody like Hollis Gentry? Yeah. You can't do it on saxophone. That's out.
That's out. That's true.
Michael Brecker, yeah, not. Grover wasn't available. And he produced that song, and he decided to do it at George's studio in his house. He has a
Big Daddy.
He has a $5 million studio inside of a $2 million house in Hollywood Hills.
Hoo-ah.
And I saw you seen The Scent of a Woman.
No, I
huh?
haven't. Everybody's doing that, so I figured I might as well jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah. So we went there, with our mouths hanging open and eyes about as big as they'll ever get.
Was he there? Was George there?
He came down for just a minute with like a cup of coffee in his hand, peeked his head in the door, said, "Oh, sounds good, guys."
See ya.
And then disappeared,
I believe it's Time Will Tell. Gerald Albright came in. Was it Time Will Tell? Or
Yeah, on that album, we did an arrangement with of the Chi-Lites song "Oh Girl," because I'd heard Ed Graves sing that song with the People Movers.
He still does.
Yeah, for a couple of years though, before Fattburger ever recorded it, and it was just beautiful. You know, it was one of the best renditions.
He really
of
does sing it well.
Oh, he's great. For about a year and a half, I thought about it'd be nice to have Ed sing that on one of our albums, so we did an arrangement of it, and pretty much had all the musical tracks laid down. Ed was singing, working on the vocal tracks, and I happened to mention out loud, kind of mumble out loud, because I was going to take like an organ solo in that song, and I thought it would be nice to get a saxophone solo in here. If we could get like, you know, Gerald Albright or Kirk Whalum or Ronnie Laws or Gerald Albright or Tom Scott
Or Gerald Albright.
or Grover or Gerald. just kind of mumbling to myself, yeah. And the second engineer happened to know Gerald Albright very well. He said, "Well, Gerald's in town.
Cool.
You know, I have his number. Want me to call him?" We looked at each other and all in unison. Yes.
Yeah.
So Gerald had a beeper, and it was shopping at the shopping center.
Down the street?
Right, literally down the street. He was at the Nordstrom in Glendale.
You're kidding.
And we were right at Air LA, which is about 6 blocks away. And must have been 20 minutes later, Gerald pops in. He's breaking out his alto saxophone, listening to the track, going, "Yeah, it's nice. That's real nice." Ed Graves didn't know what was going on, because all this had happened while Ed was in the vocal booth, kind of working out, getting warmed up to sing a song. So he was now laying down the vocal track, and he finished the vocal track, did a great job, and then Gerald goes in there, and Ed's going, "Wow, that's Gerald Albright." So yeah, we know. What's he doing here? Is he like doing a session next door with Anita Baker or something? No, Ed.
He's going to be on this
He's
track.
going to be on your song. You know, and Gerald just killed it. It was like standing ovation. And the first take was a monster. We were like, I couldn't believe it. I was just you know, the endorphins and neuropeptides were going crazy in my brain, you know. And then Joe said, let me try it again. We were like, what? That was perfect.
Stop. Don't even think about it.
Then he did an even better one.
You're
and that's
kidding.
the one we have on tape.
Junior of Fattburger, and we will continue specs for Fattburger. Also some new projects he's working on, and a big story about a new club he's opening up with Mel Goot. We finished the show with the rest of Oh Girl.